I am here with Dr. Nikki Iravani, my favorite client in the entire world of optometry. I met Dr. Iravani during 2016, right? And we were so lucky because a very nice client of ours referred Dr. Nikki to us, and we were so fortunate to meet her. She is an entrepreneur. She is a creative person. She is an executor, and she's really awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's how we feel about Dr. Iravani, and that's why here we are today. I just wanted to talk to you and discuss your new project and how we got here from 2016, of course, when we met. So why not you start a little bit about the 2016 times, and then we come today.
I'd be happy to. Thank you.
Sure.
So I had the utmost pleasure of meeting my good friend here at Mohsen. He's my favorite architect in this whole wide world. And
Do you know any other architects?
That's the question. That's what I meant.
That's so
So yeah, we had the pleasure of meeting back in 2016, and how we met is that I was thinking about starting a brand new office in Silicon Valley in Santa Clara, and the whole challenge of how am I going to set it up? I wanted to be unique. I had a certain deliverables in mind and certain design concept. And so I was after a particular brand that I wanted to create. And after I learned about you and I looked at your website and some of the work that you had done, I knew 100% this is the team that I want to work with and bring the concept that was spinning in my head, bring that to life, and basically together we gave birth to our brand eyeXam. And I couldn't be any more proud of what we created back in 2016. We delivered a brand that was unique to that market, Silicon Valley, very techy, very advanced in technology, and that type of an appeal. And fast forward 5 years later, it was time to do the second location, and we did a different spin there. So.
Yeah. Well, 2016 was a great year, of course, because of meeting you, and of course we KOHAN Architecture. We had never touched the optometry market. We had no idea how even to go about it. Of course, we have a very creative team at KOHAN, but we had never done one. So that was a great opportunity to actually do the Silicon Valley eyeXam during that time. So we went to a couple of shows, or one show in Vegas with Dr. Nikki, and we had to actually learn about optometry, the equipments, how it all works. I've been in few one because I wear eyeglasses and I have contacts, of course.
Right.
But you never really know the intricacies of the design of optometry until you really start designing one. So you were very helpful in telling me how you want and how you want to juxtapose different spaces with one another. And that seminar show we went in Vegas, it was very great to learn about it. But of course, we have a creative team. Of course, Marzi Emami Ghoreishi, who is your principal architect on this new project.
Absolutely.
And she worked on the old one as well. But we had a great creative team then, and we have it now. But that time we learned how to do an optometry, and it was really good because you were there to help us go through it.
Yeah, the entire flow, we kind of had to put our heads together, and I was the clinician explaining how we take the patient from the front desk to the pre-test room, and then from the pre-test room to the exam room, and then to the contact lens area, and then back to the front. And I was, to be quite honest, I was very nervous because I had not worked in a clinical practice that I owned previously. I had worked in a bunch of different different offices, but I was not a practice owner to know the pitfalls and the challenges of the flow. And I was very nervous that the architect that I'm working with also is new to that flow in an optometry practice. And I kept thinking that I should work with someone who knows optometry and has designed optometry practices before, so that they can guide me in with this flow. But I went with my gut, and that was to work with the best of the best design and creators of the brand. And I had identified you, and I thought that we're going to sort of help each other bring this brand to life. And we did a great job, I think.
No, absolutely, you're right. And that is a testament to the fact that if you haven't done it before, we still can do it. But I think guidance from the doctor herself or himself is really important, because if you weren't there and you weren't really putting the time, and because you're very much about details, you are very much detail oriented person, and if you weren't there, probably would be very difficult for us to achieve that. Without you, we could have done it, and I think I owe you a big thank you for that. You did help us a lot, and the project was very successful, and I think you still receive compliments on that.
Oh, right? Absolutely. Right. It's still a masterpiece 5 years later, 6 years later.
So the challenge we had, of course, to create the patient experience you wanted there, the flow you wanted there, because you had a clinical space and the retail space. And I remember we struggled about the retail space size versus the number of exam rooms, so on and so forth. I personally learned a lot from that, and I think you did too in so many ways. That's why when we started thinking about the second project, we brought a lot of good things with us to the second project. But my big challenge, of course, was you wanted to do brand. You wanted to have a brand. And you always told me that you wanted to continue building a few more. And we did your logo, right?
Yeah.
Yes, the beautiful round logo. And
I love my logo.
Well, yeah, we did about probably 40 different logos. We used to pen it out on the walls.
I know.
And we had our team to look at it, and we picked few, and then we kept sending it to you. But we created that logo with love, really, because we love you, we love your projects, and you exude, you just generate a lot of positive energy to us. So we did that, and the brand, of course, it's not about the logo itself, it was about building. So with that, I know Marzi was very instrumental on creating the new eyeXam in Crystal Cove to actually, how do you create how do you come up or create or transfer that brand from one location to a whole different location, to a whole different physical environment with a whole different type of clientele? I'll let her talk about that. How's that?
That'd be great. Absolutely.
Dr. Iravani, very nice seeing you and sitting here with you.
Thank you.
So we hear that you're after Silicon Valley brand, after I think a couple of years, so you decided to open an new office here in Crystal Cove, Newport Beach. So what happened?
That's actually a great question. Actually, there is a story behind it. Obviously, who doesn't want to have a second location or third location or fifth location? However, you get so busy with the running of the first location, and there isn't enough time to always go after what you would like to do. So that was exactly my case. The office was getting busier and busier, and challenges of a business owner trying to just survive and keep your head above water. I would have probably not aggressively gone after the second location so quickly, because now it's only 5 years since we opened that, but this conversation of having the second location started after second or third year. So what was happening is that local shopping center owners and developers of various malls and strip centers and all that started approaching us from year one, that they were impressed with our practice, with our brand, and with what we had created, and they wanted our brand in their center. From Stanford Shopping Center, or close to Stanford Shopping Center in the Palo Alto market, all the way to Southern California, Irvine Company, namely, that owns this center. So finally, after numerous conversations and being approached by different developers, the market in Southern California and Newport Beach seemed the perfect community and the perfect market for what I was envisioning to have as the second location. And if we are about carrying the brand to its potential, why have that brand 15, 20, or even 50 miles away? It makes sense to go completely to a different region, different market, and try to introduce it to a different area. And that's when one of my challenges was, or one of anyone's challenge would be to get the project started. But knowing KOHAN team and all of you guys, it just seemed like this is going to be straightforward. Let's put our heads together and do it again.
That's amazing. That actually is very important, because the developer found credibility that your brand is bringing to your development, so on, to their shopping center, which is amazing. So the moment that we start project, so basically you discuss with us the new location, new physical space, and we had a meeting with you starting at what you want from this location. And you started developing your idea and vision about carrying your brand to this new space. So tell us about that.
Like I said, Newport Beach market is a very different market, different demographic, and quite now that I'm seeing patients, even their eyeballs are quite different than the eyeballs that I see in Silicon Valley. So we wanted to extend the brand and carry the legacy and have the same concept, but we needed to glam it up, for lack of other words, just because the whole Orange County community and Newport Beach and home of influencers and celebrities and all that is a little bit different than the techie Silicon Valley, Google, Facebook, Apple, hoodie software engineers. So we had delivered our brand to the high-tech community, to Silicon Valley, to the home of Facebook, Google, Apple employees, and now we needed to twist it, modify it, glam it up to deliver it to the Orange County community. And just like back then, 5-6 years ago, I sat with Mohsen and I had to explain what we need in an optometry practice. Now fast forward, my design team, working with you, Marzi, this time as my principal architect, I just had to explain to you that the appeal to that market, what are we after? So I didn't need to explain what I want in the exam room, because exam rooms, we've already designed it. We already know the clinical setting. You just kind of copy that over. But we needed to modify the plan and make it appeal to this market,
Definitely.
to the Newport Beach market.
Yes, so we started even with the first step, we started with 3 different layouts because of the space, also because of the volume that you were expecting for this location. And then you decided to go with the most complicated layout because that brings more of a space and area and rooms, or amenities that you're after that. So I think that was the first step to bring more glamour to the concept of eyeXam in Newport Beach, basically Crystal Cove. So then when we went through the design and we review all pieces and details together, so we basically touch base on every single detail. So tell us about your experience about talking about materials, talking about the ceiling. Even you were concerned, I want to have my X
Yes,
wall,
the X
here.
wall.
Yes, in
Yes.
a more glamorous fashion.
Yes, yeah. So, wow, that brings back a lot of headaches, remember, for both of us. I think that the hardest part was to nailing down the layout, the floor plan, and you presented four, or was it three different floor plans: plan 1, plan 2, plan 3. Plan 1 was definitely beautiful, a workable space for an optometrist to see patients. We had clinical and the retail setting, but it was something basic and maybe not the ultimate best use of the square footage, but it was workable. And then the plan 2 was a step up. It was nice, maybe with some other details and features. And then you presented plan 3, and both you and Mohsen said, and this is the wow design and the plan. And I really struggled, to be quite honest, to make a decision, because I didn't want to go overboard and just do a 2-story and everything that you see here. It was just a big challenge from the construction side and from the financial side and all of that. And I kept trying to limit myself and convince myself that plan 2 is okay too, and plan 1 there's nothing wrong with it. But once you presented plan 3 and the wow factor that was associated with plan 3, there was just no way I could go back and accept the other 2 plans. So we're very proud of this amazing plan. We now have this upstairs element and everything else, details around it, and a lot of the details, like the X wall, which you see it here, but the main X wall is in our main retail area. All of that is an extension of our brand up in Silicon Valley, and we have brought it here, but in a different way, which is just a more wow way, I guess, and more glammed up way. And we're really proud of it. That's why this is our flagship location.
Okay.
And because it's a flagship.
Of course. Okay, so also you offer specific services here in this location. So eye spa, and also you have a specific marketing approach. Can you talk about that, please?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So it's not that I only offer these services in this location. It's that we actually branded those services a little bit better in this location, because now we have the right space and the right environment for the service to be presented in a better way. We do dry eye treatments even in our Silicon Valley office all the time. But on the same exam chair that you sit to get your regular eye exam and to get your contact lenses put on your eyes, then I discuss your dry eye issue with you. And then even if you need a laser treatment or LipiFlow or some of these ancillary services, we do it right there on that same exam chair, because that's all that's available to us. But it does need its own experience to do the whole dry eye treatment, and it is almost like, I call it an eye facial, because it literally is a treatment for the eye. Like you go in to get a facial treatment, you need to have this treatment done on and around your eyes. So I wanted to create a med spa type of an experience and environment, and we call it the eye spa. and I love our eye spa. Not only I love our eye spa, our patients are really impressed with the eye spa, and they come in and they say, "Ooh, what's happening here?" And we say, "That's the eye spa. Do you have any dry eye issues, or has anyone talked to you about these treatments?" And then it's a conversation opener right from the very beginning when they walk in, and so they schedule the appointment, even a consultation, and so we find out about their challenges. So it's not new services, or it's not that the service is only here and Dr. I won't do it there. I do the services, but we branded it, packaged it, presented it differently here because of the space that we created. Exactly. Yes, and that is very important. When you have the right space and the right experience, then you can deliver the treatment and package it and market it a little bit better to the community.
That's another branch of branding, because you basically created that term of eye spa, because I haven't heard before.
Right.
So that was also new for me, that eye spa is a place that I get my eyes relief and relax.
Yes.
Rather than only technical things like getting my eye examined or treated. So which is very interesting. Basically, I think that also brings a new story to the whole entire business.
Yeah, we have a holistic approach to the eye. It is, in fact, our tagline is everything eyes. So I want to pay attention to everything around the eyes and everything around the eyes. You could come and spend a couple $1,000 and do the IPL, the laser treatments, and the dry eye services. But if you go home and use bad products to remove your makeup, or the eye cream and moisturizers and all of that you put around your eyes are not recommended for your skin type and for your lids and lashes, then we're back to step one. You're gonna have issues again, dry eye issues and all that. So we also have the eye bar.
I was about to mention
the eye bar
in educational process.
Exactly. Yes. And so we also present our patients with the right products to use around their eyes: the facial cleansers, the moisturizers, the eye cream, and even makeup for eyes and around the eyes. So that is very important. And now we have eye bar, we have eye spa that we've designed together, and we can present it to our patients in the best way.
Perfect.
So it's very important for anyone that we interact with to recognize the brand, whether we are in Silicon Valley or we're in Southern California. We have a lot of vendors, a lot of industry reps that visit us, and they know eyeXam, and if they now come to eyeXam in Southern California and it's a completely different look and feel, then that's like, what? Like, it's confusing. They may not recognize that it's the same practice and the same model that is being introduced in this market. So luckily, although we have a completely different experience here, at the end of the day, it is eyeXam. You walk in, or people walk in, and they don't say, "Oh, wow, this place is." I don't know what the word is here, but everyone that walks in, they know, they recognize that it's eyeXam, and they say, "Wow, this is eyeXam on steroids," basically.
Yeah, I would probably call it, you go to Apple Store flagship in Union Square, but still you see other Apple Store and you see the resemblance, but still it's the brand.
There are some...
And the same services.
Yeah, so we and that was very important, and we achieved that. We were able to do that. I also want to mention that optometry is a very different and challenging, I think, space to create and design because it's medical and big part of it is retail. So what are you trying to do? Are you trying to set up a boutique and cater to the high-end clienteles that want Gucci and YSL and Christian Dior and Chanel? That has its own vibe.
Yeah.
But then the medical vibe, you know, wearing a white coat and scrubs and being very sterile and very clinic-like, has its own vibe too. So to bringing these two worlds together, mesh it together, and have them sit side by side, juxtapose them next to one another, and still make it be very seamless and continuous is a big challenge. And I think your team, you yourself as the principal architect, and the team that you worked with, you guys did an amazing job in creating that experience, bringing the sterile white coat medical world next to high fashion, glam, and boutique and makeup and all of that. Like, what? That is challenging to do.
It is challenging.
Yeah,
and as
we
you
did
mentioned, yes, thank you. As you mentioned, it right. So both part has a good weight next to each other to complete this brand and featuring this business, because your retail is strong and also your medical part is clinical part also is very strong, and both they are offering top-notch services. You are offering the best quality eye care in retail and also in your clinical area. Your clinical area is so sophisticated the same way as your retail is so glamorous. And when we were working on design, so our challenge was to keep both location, both parts actually the same the feature that we want to present. So for example, looking at the space without any feature, knowing that okay, you are gonna go with the third option floor plan, you are getting more square footage, you have more space, also your construction cost is absolutely higher because of the square foot and more complex structure and construction. So we went through the details of locating the maximum retail shelving to make sure we can have the maximum display, even the shelving design to bring the character from Silicon Valley location here, carrying the same signature or language, but then we were so picky to select the right material, select the right accessories, design other feature that is related to this space, like very glamorous display tables.
Absolutely.
And also very interesting design feature. When you enter, you see your the basically different location that you want to get services. Can you talk about a specific because you are so specific about having the technician bar separate from exam bar, separate from adjustment separate. So can you talk about that?
Wow, it's bringing back a lot of memories and discussions. Yes. So again, it's just that optometry is so challenging in a way that you need to have staff and your team member doing different things in different areas. And in a typical optometry office, if you need an adjustment of your glasses, the technician might take it to the lab in the back area and hidden, and there's tools and screws and stuff like that to adjust and to repair. But I wanted all of that to be part of the main floor, and just while my patient or while the patient is waiting to get the glasses adjusted, repaired, fitted on your face, which is very important. So we kind of had to bring the tools and the lab,
showing off your skills.
Exactly. Yes, we had to bring all of that to the front retail, the boutique, and the amazing, gorgeous space that we're creating. What now? We're going to take out a screwdriver and do all of that. So we called it the tech bar or the technician bar, which we're going to take some pictures of it. So the technician bar has all of the tools that's necessary for the trade, sort of hidden, tucked away, but it can easily be accessible to the technician to work with it and do what they need to do. And today's consumer is all about personal engagement and participating in the entire experience and very interactive and all that. So they appreciate that they don't need to stand there, while they're waiting 15 minutes. They could actually be chit-chatting with the technician, and they're watching what's happening. And if we put the glasses on your face and it needs to be heated and warmed up and bent and rotated, all that, it's happening right there in a very beautiful space, and they're enjoying all of that.
Perfect.
So we did that with the technician bar, and then we have the ZAM bar. We call it ZAM because eyeXam, and so that's where a lot of our stylists are working with the with our patients to frame style them and to show them and to check them out. So that was another side of the space, which turned out to be exactly what I envisioned. Couldn't have been any better. Our workspace for the front desk coordinator to check in the patient in our existing office up in Santa Clara. That space was a little bit tight and not enough. We wanted to be very paperless, so we didn't do any drawers and any counters for different office stuff. So we kind of took that learning and we said, let's keep it very paperless and very modern, but at the same time, the reality is the staff does need more of a workspace.
And this one is very spacious.
Yes.
So 3 people, they're greeting the customers at the same time. Yes.
So we brought that learning from up north to here. We applied that. So now that space has been definitely completed to its maximum potential. And finally, the material picking was extremely difficult and challenging because this is where you have to juggle or balance, a balancing act of your pocket and your taste, and it's very difficult. So the material, selecting material is a very challenging.
Your taste is amazing.
Thank you, thank you.
Always the way that you pushed us and direct us to go toward materials. We offered you several samples, and we know Dr. Iravani's taste is unique.
Thank you. No, you guys definitely did an amazing job selecting the right material, but I tried very hard to have my budget also in mind, but when you have to pick the right material to complete the experience, you just kind of have to let it go.
I would say you didn't compromise any detail. You pay attention to all details. And my last question, when is your third office is gonna be?
Are you kidding me?
No.
Oh, wow.
With the character and your business leadership that you have, your DNA.
Thank you.
I wouldn't expect unless you have 10 offices.
To be quite honest with you, we've been approached already several times, both for Northern California, Southern California, and funny enough, out of state. We were approached, and I was like, thank you very much. Let me catch my breath. Let's settle down here.
Yes.
And I don't have any immediate plans for a third office, but sky's the limit. Let's see.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So I'm glad you got your brand. I'm glad your brand came to life here. I can see you're happy, and it was successful, especially when you hear it from others, where when they come in, they see the same office, but like you said, glammed up for the environment you're in. I understand when we start a project, of course, we always talk about it, what is your vision, what is your timeline, and what's your budget. I really have to tell you, your vision is awesome.
Thank you.
And thank you for the opportunity again. And I'm glad we were able to create what you were after. The budget, of course, the plan 3 was the most expensive one due to the square footage, and you picked that because you never, you never undermined anything, and especially your practice, which we will see soon how it turned out, which I'm very proud of, and you are too.
Thank you.
So, and the timeline, I really have to again thank our wonderful general contractor, Kevin Akrami with Armin Corp, who really brought whatever we designed and delivered basically. What a great construction, what a great attention to details. He was very good about it, and I'm very proud to have him as part of our trustee contractors to do the work. So without him, probably we couldn't really bring this to life. This is a very complicated project, right?
Yeah.
You can agree with that.
Totally, yes.
Yeah. So a big thank to him.
Yes,
and
I agree.
Really, we need to. I wish he was here, but a big thank to him. Pink Floyd. Yes, everybody knows
Yes.
Pink Floyd, right? And David Gilmour. Wherever Pink Floyd plays a tune, it's Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd and David Gilmour, and you kind of feel it. And that is a brand. And eyeXam is a brand. And what I want to tell you is, if David Gilmour can create Pink Floyd and Pink Floyd becomes the brand, I feel we are the David Gilmour and you are the Pink Floyd.
Wow, what a team. That's great. Yes.
And I love it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Awesome. No, I love the brand that we created. I loved working with the KOHAN team, with
course.
both of you
Thank
and
you.
the rest of
Thank
your
you.
team.
Thank you.
It was a fun journey, a fun experience. And I just felt that it's not that I needed to do this for me. I felt that today's consumer, my patients, the world who touches optometry and wants to do anything in eye care deserves an elevated experience. And I believe that we did deliver an elevated experience. And people come in and everybody walks in and they say, wow, okay, I just made an eye exam appointment. I didn't expect this. And that wow factor that I see in everyone's eyes is really satisfying. And you guys made that happen for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.